in there. We were talking earlier about how you wanted to see Jungle Bullet on an early game jungler, and then the hyper scaling, hyper carry ADC on the side of Preaky in the bot lane. But we've not really seen that. We've kind of seen a bit of an inversion where Jin, has absolutely fantastic damage into the mid game, does scale decently into late game, but nothing to the likes of a Jinx or an Aphelios. And we're good today. Absolutely love to see it. The amount of nightmares that I have had about League client bugging out on any given day, especially on stream, all coming back there as we see, I would argue, the best skin in the game for Mundo. If we take ourselves out of this analysis for a while, look at that goddamn car. Look at how speedy he is. Look at that boy. Look at him go. What a man.
Corporate Mundo is just... It stonks, isn't it? Ah, there we go. We are hit by the spectator bug. But it
there we go.
Fine. There we go.
Should just fix itself as we see the 5-man stack in the bot side here for the side of Monkey Manus into just a 5-point from the RIPSQUAD. So it looks like there's going to be pretty low interaction early unless they look themselves for the late invade, which I think is unlikely.
Yeah. A bit of that Viego spam as we...
yeah, exactly. Slamming his sword into the ground. I would be curious as to whether it's a little late walking up here, but I think they should be fine just checking their own jungle, going for a bit of a 5-man roam everywhere. But he'll be back up to top lane in time for his wave. So yeah, if we're talking about these two compositions, it's easy to talk about them in the abstract and what we're looking at, but in terms of the early game here, the individual matchups, from what I'm aware of, this matchup is very alright for Mundo, because the only CC that Shen has that breaks the shield is Taunt. So any champion that has only one piece of CC tends to struggle a bit into Mundo. However, that being said, Shen's early game damage can be absolutely monstrous, so top lane is definitely going to be a place to look.
Yeah, I think the Mundo does have to be careful until he gets his full combo. But yeah, I think the mid matchup though, as soon as the Fizz gets that level 2, the amount of damage that can be outputted is pretty insane.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would imagine that he would jump straight on top of this Corki there as soon as the wave and the levels are in his advantage. As we see exactly that mid, as directed camera is struggling to keep up with the damage going between both teams. But Corki already taking a significant amount of damage, having to pop the pot, and the corrupting pots as well here. We're talking about itemization, means Fizz is going to be looking to trade. He's looking to try and burst this Corki down, because I feel like, personally, that tier start on Corki could be a little greedy. That could come back to bite him, because this Fizz is already so strong in the early game. I feel like you have to just accept that fact and go for something more defensive.
But at the same time, with cookies, with the double health pots, you do have a lot of innate sustain, essentially. So it's,
absolutely,
I can understand the greed, potentially. We'll have to see how it works out as another trade goes in favour.
Absolutely massive. Manages to W away from the E though there at the end, but yeah, that's exactly. I mean, ultimately you can argue it's greedy, but hey, if it works, it works. You can't call someone greedy if their play goes through, I suppose. So we'll have to see just how this mid lane is executed. Honestly, a significant health advantage. The Q goes forward, the W counter, the ignite down, and the tier does in fact get punished, as Corki is going to be the first blood in this game solo bolo for Caruana.
And this is what we were saying a bit earlier, that the Fizz always gives spice to UNL. And there we go. That corrupting pot damage, the ignite as well. That's all he needs. And first kill, that 400 gold is going to be huge.
Absolutely, and I mean, I can't really think of much of a scarier target for a first kill to go down onto. Not just onto a Fizz, but onto a Fizz where it seems like, it definitely looks like the proficiency is there, the understanding of the champion is there, and this Fizz could very much end up turning into a menace for the bot lane here, because we've not got a traditional engaged tank in the bot lane, and depending on the build, obviously, the Viego isn't always the tankiest champion either, so we could see Fizz absolutely blowing people up this game.
Yeah. We didn't actually mention runes or summoner spells. Is there anything that surprises you in terms of, the runes? Anything intriguing, or are they pretty standard?
As far as I'm aware, within my limited bad player knowledge of runes, masteries, and champions, these are all fairly standard. The aftershock on the Zax of the engage can go down well, give you that extra tank stats. as we do see Jundabula hovering here. Other than that, I mean, you see Dark Harvest on the brand. The only thing I would comment about this is I hate the supports that do this. Hate damage supports, not a fan. As we see, this is going to be a 3v3 in the bot lane as Jundabula is here to back this up. Karokani has to flash out. The damage is going down onto Outlaw. They are chasing Hurricane. However, he does not go down. Viego gets the reset. The Jinx is picked up. However, he's not going to have his ultimate to switch form, and that's going to slow him down enough to let the enemy team out. 1-0 in favor of Monkey Madness. As yet again, more damage going down here. D24 tick is here. The flash forward from Preaky. Massive damage going down there, getting bursted out. 2-4-0 in the bot lane.
Well, we talked about early pressure from the Fizz, but we didn't really mention that Viego, not only is he a hyper carry, he can also be fantastic with that setup from the W stun if it lands. And there we go, a bit of a sneaky play from Jundabula. A good engage, I thought, from Fanxi, but they were not expecting Viego there at all. And Outlaw did well to flash over the Viego stun, but it just was not enough.
Absolutely, and perhaps maybe some over-aggression there, because once you realize how low both your champions are, maybe you just need to take a step back, because there's no denying that the Jhin brand is going to be a lot stronger in the early game than the Jinx Lulu. And it's really, if that gank there feels like one of those, just the knowledge that we see from both junglers there, to know, not only for the Zac to think to go for that gank, you know, always an inventive angle going over those walls with Zac, but for then Jundabula to have the foresight, to have the understanding of the game, to go, their jungler is going to be down here, I need to cover this, and he does it so well.
I would say one thing that I was surprised by was Jundabula going for the Jinx switch. I actually think at this point in the game, going as Jinx, you are much weaker than staying as the Viego there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I was quite surprised he did take that form switch.
Yeah, it could just be, if we're being honest and taking ourselves out the, you know, the hyper analytical standpoint, might have just been a misclick at the end of the day. I think that is likely the case, because I mean I even noted it there that it seems like he might have actually been able to chase for a little more had he not ended up switching forms there, but it didn't matter because Preaky was there with the forced shot flash ready to destroy Outlaw in his path.
And we also, I don't think we particularly mentioned it, but the first dragon did go to Monkey Madness as well. And that Cloud
playing
Dragon,
off the advantage of the box.
Cloud Dragon, early game is quite nice for those resets and those roams that out of combat movement speed does do a decent amount, to be fair.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, when we look at the champs that are going to be able to use it, Zac's going to be roaming himself about in the jungle. That'll help him getting around, and especially on the Fizz. That's absolutely huge. You know, this man is...
It's the other side.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. So being able to deny that there from the side could actually be pretty massive, because Fizz is no doubt going to be looking to, as soon as possible, unlock himself from this Corky lane, maybe with a couple of kills, as we do see Fanxi here on the bot side, but just going to clear out vision, and I think both teams are going to disengage.
I like, though, that the bot lane are, of Monkey Madness are putting those wards down. As you mentioned, Zac has very weird and wonderful gank paths as he looks to go in.
Fanxi gets engaged onto the ultimate straight down, massive damage coming over. Jundabula is here, but it looks like he could be going down as well. The damage is just too much. That's going to be a double kill for the Fizz. This is one scary fish.
Yeah, a beautiful lineup there of the ultimate, the Chum the Waters, and the Zac jump as well. Does enough. Outlaw might be in a bit of trouble here. Huge amounts of brand damage.
Yep, what a support champion, most likely doing more damage than the ADC in that fight. That's how the modern support meta goes. Massive damage going through, and yeah, I mean, when you've got CC set up like that, you know, the brand stun into the Jhin route, that's, you know, that's just a dead ADC.
And 3 of the 4 Cursion calls did land as well. Middle East had to flash away from that final 4th shot, which probably would have taken him down from that health.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when we're talking summoners here, having that Lulu burnt such a far away off cooldown as it could be from the side of Monkey Madness could mean that Preaky and I can never get that. Karakuni
Karakuni.
can look to push their flash advantages, not only trade away the Jinxes, but maybe even take this Lulu down with them, knowing that she's vulnerable and immobile at that time.
So, 3 for 3 at the moment as we approach the 10-minute mark. Who do you think, realistically, this relatively even split, it's only 200 gold at the moment in favour of Monkey Madness, who do you think, at this point in the game, having an even state favours?
I absolutely think that having the even state favors RIPSQUAD actually in this game, simply because whilst it is an even overall game state, where the advantages stand a chance to be far more oppressive. You know, obviously Karakuni can land that stun in the bot lane as they just did there and pick up kills, burn flashes, but that's not going to matter. That's just a safety deposit box for this Fizz if he wants it to be. So another route does actually land, a lot of damage going down, but it looks like they're just going to try and disengage it. Point being is that a fed Fizz is going to be super oppressive for Preaky in the bot lane. He never gets kills. However, he is going down off screen, directed camera, taking us away from the action. Massive damage traded back. The ultimate from the Brand going down, tries to flash in to get it to bounce, but ends up being a flat flash. Jinx does not quite manage to get the reset. Junadabula is in the middle, manages to get the kill picked up. The Shen ultimate has brought them down to the bot lane. The Lulu flash forward, does not manage to pick up the kill and does not have the ultimate
mega
to get
death
out
rocket
off this form. Manages to trade it back, and it's not going to be the kill there. 2 for 1 for the side of RIPSQUAD.
And it may be another.
Carries on going. As I said, safety deposit box. That is all that is. When Fizz looks to bot lane and sees 150, 200, 300 gold on that ADC, he is rubbing his hands and cackling as he looks to maybe get caught out here. However, a Corki package does mean that he gets himself out. D24 tick could be finding himself in a bad situation. However, Fanxy does have passive. The Fizz damage is too huge. Flashes over the wall.
The misclick!
Accidentally autos the blast code. No!
Oh, the snipe from Jinx isn't there this time. He might go down, but he gets a kill.
Jinx face checks a Corki. In what world does that work?
Oh. This is... I mean, that is some monkey play from both sides there.
Monkey Madness looking to live up to their name. What happened there? Oh my god. So we had every player on low health. Corki trying to get it. Ends up packaging into the enemy side. Gets himself caught out. And then we had the flash over the wall auto attack the blast cone from Caruana. Not the play you want to be making. Absolutely going to be clipped and shipped. And then on top of that, you had Jinx face checking a Corki with charged rocket. What an exchange.
I mean, unbelievable. I want to bring it back to the original team fight that's all originally spawned from, where we had the Brand recalling and got sniped by the Super Mega Death Rocket from Outlaw, and the Jhin just definitely not respecting a Fizz with ultimate up under his own turret. Like, just a lot of being safe, you know, not really from the bot lane of Monkey Madness, and really allowing Caruana to deal huge amounts of damage over the side. And it's just been chaos, this bot lane fiesta. I don't know how to describe it, honestly.
Absolutely, kills going over left, right, and center. But despite how some of those fights may have seemed, you know, incredibly sided to RIPSQUAD or incredibly sided, you know, 1-0 in favor of Monkey Madness, we have an incredibly even game here. There's only about 400 gold in it so far at 13 minutes. However, as we do look to be gearing up for a big team fight, Hikes gets himself slowed. Zac charging up the jump, and he's in there. Corki manages to get himself out with the W. However, the ultimate is going to go over from the wall from the Viego. The curtain call over onto the Jhin, and that is a 700 gold shutdown onto the Mundo. The Corki manages to get caught right in the middle of the fight. And Junadabula, he's going to be trying to make his advantages here, but I'm not sure if there's any way he can get out. Massive damage traded over. Preaky trying to do his best, but the shots are not coming through for the Jhin. The curtain call was not enough, and this is going to be absolute destruction for the side of Monkey Madness. 3 dead, 3 on the other side. Traded back. Fanxy gonna go over the wall, pick up that kill. Drug trying to get himself out, and now it's just Hikes in a 1v2 situation.
I think Hikes could do this though. I think Hikes could get this 1v2 off.
Absolutely. The Mundo ult. Not there. Shen ulting onto his teammate. Maybe waiting for the damage. The revive, of course, going to be there for the Zac. And the 5-0-5 scoreline for Fanxi is not going anywhere. RIPSQUAD managing to pull that fight through. The 2v1 was just enough. It was looking scary for a moment. However, now having this Drake advantage, gonna have to pull it out as they're aware that Junadabilla is working towards this. This is not definitely their Drake.
Yeah, I mean, both Fanxi and Dragon9 are low. You've got the snipes coming out from Corky, but it's not.
The blue team has stolen it.
It's stolen from the Jin W. The Jin W.
W takes it.
No way.
That has got to feel bad for the side of RIPSQUAD. I'm only just noticing now, I assume because they've done it. Fanxi, I don't think had Smite up because that's on slow recharge right now. Junadabilla flashes forward onto Outlaw. Outlaw slowed, the brand damage coming through. The damage also coming over from Fanxi. The CC not managing to land it. Outlaw managing to get himself out. Survives for now. Fanxi in the middle of the enemy team, exactly where he wants to be. The Mundo ult pop and running down. Junadabilla, however, is going to get picked off. That is an one excited Jinx. Manages to get out. However, the Lulu cannot say the same. This Hikes is chasing him down. Mundo goes where he pleases, taking the double kill for his team.
Yeah, and just like last game, the top laners are dealing so much damage. A 4-1 Mundo. But so the dragon was stolen by a Jin W, which at this point in the game probably does about 150 or so damage max. I just want to put that out there, how insane that steal was.
That's got to be awkward for the side of Fanxi, thinking that, hey, you know, there's no way Junadabilla can be here in time. Turns out you don't even need the jungler. You just use your ADC, as you do. As we see, you know, all these explosive fights, shutdowns on somehow both the top laners on the side of both Monkey Madness and RIPSQUAD, and still almost a dead even game with now only a slight gold lead, 1k in favor of Monkey Madness.
But it's interesting to see where the gold leads are at the moment. So currently it's a big gold gap in the top lane, 7.4 compared to just over 5k for Dragon9. Well, most of the goal difference for RIPSQUAD is on Zac and the Fizz.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you think about where you want it to be for both teams, I feel like that's more or less close enough. Obviously, Mundo having all of it isn't necessarily ideal. The ultimate coming through here. Junadabilla is here to cover this. Drug online looks to be caught out. The stun coming through, and that is going to be him going down. A tower and a kill in favor of Monkey Madness.
So, a player that we didn't even speak about before the game, but Hikes is absolutely proving his worth here. He's had a pretty good game. I think it was a fantastic game on the Fiora, I believe it was. I think it was the second game.
Yeah, absolutely. So. His Fiora was menacing. I believe, if I'm correct, Hikes is a Fiora one trick. However, as we can see, his abilities are going elsewhere. The curtain call gets called across the enemy team, and it looks like RIPSQUAD are just getting chased into their own jungle here. The objective prowess is too strong. Lulu running forward. Viego gonna look to pick this up onto Outlaw. The Shen ultimate, however, does come through. He's just gonna look to engage this. Trapped in between a rock and a hard place with the traps. With Caruana on the backside, Freaky goes down to the ultimate. Massive damage there from the Fizz. Do RIPSQUAD look to turn this? Yes, massive damage down onto Karakuni. And now it's up to Hikes and Junadabilla to try and get themselves out. Fanxi is low. Fanxi does not have passive here, but they look to be chasing this down. They more than have the damage with the Jinx. If this Jinx gets excited, it's going to be absolutely massive. Needs to keep herself away from Junadabilla. However, the damage is going through. Switches to the rockets, cancels the auto attack that would kill. Does not manage to get it through. The Jinx W goes through. Hikes pops the ultimate, manages to trade one back. He's now on the Jinx. Massive heal there coming through. Outlaw goes down 2 for 1 for their Mundo. Their Hikes absolutely showing up big in this game. As Junadabilla yet again manages to trade another guy with one back. 350 gold. Continues to go on. Uses the strength of this Fizz, not knowing that Shen W blocks his ultimate, and that is going to go over in the favor of Drug Online. What a massive fight for both teams.
Just so long as well, and it's still going on. Drug Online is going to be chased down. Corky has package.
The package gets him out and cuts him down. That is going to be Karakuni taking the kill there. Massive damage. And, you know, you have to pick something up on the back of that fight. And they sure did.
The Rift Herald was started over a minute and a half ago, which is where this fight started. And it's not even going to be taken because Dragon is going to be coming up in 40 seconds. So all the attention is going to switch over to the bot side now. So the objective is not even taken, and unbelievable amount of kills going over to both sides. There is now a decent lead though for Monkey Madness, 35 to 33k.
Yeah, exactly, and we are seeing that lead slowly building up, and this Corki could be getting very dangerous levels as he does have the package ready. Fancy going in onto Karakuni, maybe getting caught out. The Jinx Rocket comes in, Super Mega Death for the Super Mega Death support, as they're gonna look to try and chase more down on the back of the fight. The jump in is cancelled by Fancy. They may just be looking to flip this objective. However, Junadabula is in the area. We know how strong he can be. Hikes goes in, pops the ultimate early, massive damage onto the Fizz. Not expected though, the Shen ult does manage to taunt him away. Caruana, the slippery fish, manages to get himself out. The curtain call called across the enemy team as Junadabula flashes in, looks to get the reset. Does just get it, but manages to get killed before it manages to go off. D24 tick here, gonna be caught out. RIPSQUAD managing to burst across the team fight, and the gold lead does not matter. You are going down, and that is gonna be the fight and the Drake for RIPSQUAD.
I'm really surprised that is how the dragon fight ended up, because throughout almost all of that we had Pricky and D240 just absolutely free hitting everyone from RIPSQUAD, but it did not matter as RIPSQUAD were able to finally get through the Mundo, and obviously Brand just was not there on the fight, which was a key detail as we see RIPSQUAD looking for Baron.
Yeah, and it's just like we were saying in the pre-game after we saw the draft, you know, if you can't get onto this Jinx, if you spend so many resources trying to kill other players on the team, she's just going to get to do Jinx things. She's going to get excited and get to run about. Yeah, they're just going to look to take the Baron here. Interesting to go for that instead of the Drake, however, definitely the right call. Obviously looking to push more of an advantage. As blue team, however, the Brand, I believe, going to be soloing that Drake on the other half. So interesting trade, I think, because that puts Monkey Madness on Soul Point, and that could have a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, I can understand the appeal of going for that Rush Baron, but the problem is, you know, the Brand, as we just saw, can deal so much percentage health damage to dragons. And yeah, Soul Point, particularly with Infernal Soul on the Jhin, on the Corki, on the Brand, and then Viego as well. So much damage could potentially come out. A good Gale Force away from Pricky.
As Fancy managing to get the engage on, does not manage to, however, knock anyone up as the Gale Force forward comes through from Jinx. The Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide. Pricky stays alive for just one more second before going down. Drug online, finding himself very low here, caught between a rock and a hard place, however, also manages to walk himself out with that shield. They're just going to use this Baron buff. They're going to shove waves in, and they're going to look to take as much as they can here. Death bowling against the side of Monkey Madness.
And I think a death ball in this comp is pretty good, but the problem is
Banksy going in, going deep, massive damage. Junadabula going to be going down, absolutely bursted by Caruana, and he is looking like Fabiano right now. He is taking names, massive damage, gets onto the Corki, yet another burst target, and it doesn't matter what Heist can do. He's on the Middle East, he's onto the support, but it does not matter. The taunt comes through, the knockup comes through, and he's not going to be able to pick it up. Caruana, meanwhile, just in the base, just rocking, doing whatever he wants, picking up massive kills, and this game now feels firmly in Rip's control.
Yeah. And another engage forward from Banksy.
Always going in, always going forward. Massive damage. Pricky does not get to play the game here. There's a Zac, there's a Fizz, there is now a Jinx that is online. And could this even be game? No, it can't. There's players alive and looking to just be an inhibitor.
Outlaw tanked a lot of damage there on that turret if
absolutely,
can get in. But it looks...
does not manage to find their way in, but yeah, no, absolutely did tank maybe one tower shot too many. And I mean, look at those shutdowns. Look at that gold advantage. Absolutely massive now. Swinging from, what was it before? It feels like the last I started talking, it was a 2k gold lead in favor of Monkey Madness. Completely swung in the other direction as we're looking at a 4k gold lead now in favor of RIPSQUAD. Like I say, firmly in the driver's seat, and Fizz is just an absolute menace right now. Pricky does not get to play the game.
However, in 2.5 minutes now, we will see another dragon appear, and this is Soul Point for Monkey Madness. That is the only real way I can see Monkey Madness start to win fights again. They are really struggling against the pure damage from the Fizz and the Jinx, and the ability of Zac and Shen to disrupt everyone.
Absolutely, and not only do they need to pick up the soul to get their own win, you can imagine how terrifying that Fizz becomes every single time a Fire Drake is picked up. The damage is just going to be stacking up and stacking up and stacking up, and I mean, if somehow this game goes long enough to see the soul on the side of RIPSQUAD, Freaky is just playing Grey Screen Simulator for the rest of the game. He does not get to play into that Fizz.
Yeah, exactly. As we see this lovely 4-in-1 Death Ball comp that you can have with Shen. Obviously, Shen with his ultimate is just able to provide so much sideline pressure as opposed to almost any other top laner.
Yeah, absolutely. As they do look to be collapsing onto Hikes here. The CC shield is going to be there, but it's not going to matter. The ultimate goes through, not managing to find the knock-up early. This could be bad for RIPSQUAD, as they do need to find themselves out. But meanwhile, they're just smacking this tower. The curtain call goes wide, does not manage to call any of his curtains. And the Fizz ultimate also going into Narnia. Rather unfortunate. I think I just saw that one fly by my window. Not ideal for either team there, however, with no one dying, they're just going to handshake to never talk about that fight ever again.
Yeah. And we're really seeing the gold lead snowball in the mid and jungle of RIPSQUAD. Fanxy is a good nearly 2.5k above his opposite number, and Fizz is nearly 5k ahead of the Corki. Just such big differences there for RIPSQUAD.
Absolutely huge, and I mean these shutdowns are starting to rack up, and you know these fights, whilst they have been competitive between both teams, and they're obviously RIPSQUAD has most consistently been coming out on top. It does not feel like a done deal, and you know if these shutdowns can start to come through, getting a little bit more gold, you know, onto the Viego, onto some of the carries, as Karukuni looking to get engaged on has to flash out, respects the damage there coming through. However, Outlaw could be getting collapsed on here. He has Caruana to back him up, he has his support, he has his front line. Going in is Fanxy, does not manage to continue that as the Drake is up. They know they do not want to foot these. They know they need to look for a fight. A little bit of damage goes down onto Caruana now. Junadabula looking to go in on the back half. Drug online, flashes to get two with the taunt. Manages to pick it up. It's a split fight for both teams here. Hikes is in the middle, but he's not going to be able to pick anything up. Caruana gets himself away from Junadabula. Fanxy is low health, but he's healing all the way back up. The damage coming out. This is a late game Jinx doing so much damage. However, the Brand is going to pick her up. The Super Mega Death Rocket goes through, but is stopwatch. And that is a 2, I believe, for 1 trade in favor of RIPSQUAD. Not what you want to be seeing when you have the kind of advantages you do. However, Junadabula, he's on the Drake. The Shen TP coming through. Preaky looking to stop it. The root does go through, and that's going to be a kill from Preaky. The soul goes over to Junadabula, and they have just given themselves a win condition in this game.
I think that the reason why the Dragon was able to be snuck was just simply an overstep from Outlaw. He walked, I believe it was into Luke Caruana, who already had Brand's passive on him, which triggered the passive on himself, meaning he would die. And I think that's just something that he may, you know, have got caught up in the fight slightly and didn't realise about the Brand passive. And
yeah,
that was
absolutely.
it.
League is just one of those games where, especially in fights when you've got so many dots, so many damage sources, so much CC and damage coming from everywhere, it can sometimes be tricky to not accidentally kill your ADC with a bit of burn. It happens to the best of us, I believe. But, you know, just because they're not exactly trading that best fight, and just because the soul has gone down here, we could still see a RIPSQUAD win into the soul here, because that is a 12-3 and 8 Fizz. That is absolutely massive. The engage from Fanxy as well. 7-2 and 17. Absolutely massive. As they are on the Baron. Now, it does look like Monkey Madness obviously have an idea this is going on.
This is risky.
Go down. However, Fanxy looks to turn it around. Goes in, but does not find anyone. Walks his way out. The tank is not with his team there. However, Zac can be wherever he wants to be as quickly as possible with that leap over the wall. So we see a little cheeky pause there. Baron gonna get started up by the AoE splash damage from the Mundo, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be started, and both teams now, right now, just doing a little bit of the Baron dancey dance.
Corki does
However,
Corki
has package. They're looking to go for it. They know how big their damage here is here.
The
they know just how quickly they
big.
can burn the Fizzle onto Hikes. Not the ideal target, not going to be a killing here. However, Zac does have passive. The massive damage coming through. The Jinx is trying to get herself excited. Damage goes through. That's going to be one excited Jinx plus the damage coming out. However, Corki burst is just too much. Hikes in the middle of the team here. Massively low health bars here. Caruana going in to manage the stopwatch. Hikes finds the kill. It's a 3 versus 2. Super low health on the side, but do not manage to pick it up. That is a 5 for 2 for the side of Monkey Madness.
Wow. Well, that happened. So the Baron was taken, I believe, by Monkey Madness. Wait,
no.
Was it? Sorry,
no.
by RIPSQUAD. By RIPSQUAD, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
by
gonna say, I think
RIPSQUAD.
the Smite came through, did it?
Yeah, the Smite came through. And so it does mean, though, that Baron is effectively wiped out completely. So yes, they do get that, they do get the gold from Baron, but they will not be able to use the Baron minions or the Baron extra damage.
Yeah, and it feels like Monkey Madness have finally started to play and go like, look, this Fizz is difficult to play around, but ultimately, if we have the correct spacing from our carries, have Jin do the curtain calls from miles away, have Brand be throwing spells from as max arm reach as he can, by the time Fizz has to use all of his abilities to get onto people, he can just be one-shot himself, and as much as he was so close to managing to pick that up, if Fizz can't get those crucial kills, RIPSQUAD simply do not win the fight.
Yeah. And D2 Fortic has started to scale up now. Finally, he does have that finished Mirror Mana. He does have the Luden's Tempest as well finished, and will be working towards Ravenous Hydra. So those items are starting to stack up for probably the best scaling champion on the side of Monkey Madness. Maybe Viego accepted.
Viego accepted, but Viego is one of those permanently scaling machines who doesn't necessarily just scale with his own items, you know, scaling off of the power of the enemies that he's playing against. And I mean, you also have to feel like, yeah, this Fizz is incredibly strong right now, but if they manage to pick him off early and Juno Dabula gets his hand on that Fizz, I feel like this is absolutely a player who can abuse that, as Karakuni's flash is going to be burnt for what feels like the third time this game by one Jaxi. It's so massive, the control that Fangsy's able to have off of the sheer pressure of his abilities.
I mean, for 31 minutes in the game, it's still not a huge gold lead. There is definitely a gold lead for RIPSQUAD as Middle East
simply caught with his pants down in the wrong territory, and it does look like they can maybe look for the collapse here. Juno Dabula warding up, going forward, ulting over the wall. However, does not mean it means that he's not going to have an ability to chase down. Gets slowed there by Outlaw, and it looks like they are just out here disengaging, accepting that Middle East took a step out of place. And going for the next fight. This is going to be used. Just the flash goes forward. Instant damage there onto the Jinx. The roots going down, and Fangsy's going to get caught out here. And Caruana, however, on the back half, we mentioned it, bursts down the Brand. However, that is just the support. The ultimate goes wide, is not able to find it. Viego is here. The Blast Cone manages to get himself out. However, Heights is just headbutting those towers. Mundo does indeed go where he pleases. He's over the wall. That is a big ability. He's going to have to burn flash. And I mean, Caruana is playing with fire right here, as it feels like his base could very well be falling down around him.
I actually quite like what Caruana did, though. He forced all three members of Monkey Madness to stay around him rather than going for that push with Heights. So I do think that's actually quite a clever little play. Yes, he did have to burn flash and ultimate, but I think that was actually quite a good call by him.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, you know, if the enemy team had just been allowed to run a ride there, then that would have been, you know, multiple towers, multiple waves going into the base, lost amounts of XP.
But
and
now, Elder Dragon is on the map, and this is the next big thing for both sides. And both sides will have all 5 members ready to go. This is it.
You have to feel like, I mean, outside of any critical misplays, this has to be where this game ends, because with the team fights the way they've been going, whilst they are in favor of Monkey Madness, the gold lead here is neck and neck, barely 100 gold in it, as Monkey Madness are going to be starting off here, burning it down a lot. Whichever team manages to pick this up is undoubtedly going to be able to win the fight, going to be in control of the game for the next 5 minutes. Quirky package, absolutely huge, splits up the team, but Caruana does not care, as the soul goes down. The executions going through for the side of Monkey Madness. They are chasing everyone down, and it does not matter how hard you try. That is a Brand with an Elder Drake, and the executions are going to be there. That is game set for Monkey Madness. They just need to find the way to close this game out, and it looks like it's mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, with the death timers being, you know, upwards of 40 seconds, you still got 20 seconds on the nearest one. It's game here. You know, they can tank it with the Mundo. They've got all the damage they need. They've got the wave clear. They've got the minions. And Monkey Madness look to take this game well played both sides. It's game, set, and match for Monkey Madness.
And absolutely, I mean, technically an upset according to our predictions here, and a beautifully played game by both teams. Very messy, not exactly perfect execution, but this is what you love to see. And I have to feel like this game will definitely be one to go down in the annals of UNL history as one of the most exciting games. 70 kills in 34 minutes. You love to see it.